Still here, I see.
I cleared out all the bristlebacks.
Oh, you did?
Now that you've recovered from your shock, time to blow the whistle.
Oh there, not so fast. I'll have to send someone out to confirm the kills. Make sure the valley is safe again. It shouldn't take more than a day. Or two.
No. You blow the whistle now.
These are innocent Osram lives we're talking about here. Surely the delay...
Either you do it now, or I will.
Ah, I knew you could do it! Friends, gather round. The savior of Meridian has done it again.
What?
The bristlebacks are defeated. You.
What?
Sound the whistle. Chain Scrape is open for business.
Terrific. Yay.
And Ulvund has agreed to personally pay every worker their lost wages.
Yeah.
That's more like it.
Yeah. Woo.
Ha-ha.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't you have an embassy to get to?
Yeah, I guess I do.
You're as red as a Karsha priest, and why is that, huh?
It'll be fine.
Well, the chain scrape's back to work. Merchants should be open to trade. I should see if they have anything useful before I send Wadis off to Barrenlight.
I've heard of your adventures. My armor can help.
This lucky hammer of mine.
Shop just opened up, and I've got a backlog of orders, so wouldn't hold my breath. Brought out only the good stuff for you, Red. Seeing as you got that whistle blowing.
Hey, I've been waiting to get my lucky hammer fixed for days.
You haven't done anything useful like getting rid of any bristlebacks, though, have you? Take your time. I promise you won't be disappointed. Come back anytime.
Now can I get this fixed?
I can fix your tools. Afraid there's no fixing you.
Don't give me that. Get me a drink. Ha, joke's on you, Don't make me go drag both that ears off. I'm still waiting for you to finish that fascinating story. Don't blow your blade. Don't you think I forgot? Drinks later? I never forget.
You just gonna stand there?
Can't go to work with a broken hand.
My upper lip, and I...
You look like someone who needs food.
Oh, this'll really boil their broth. I'll add a sprinkle of chili to their desserts. How perverse.
Armor is my trade.
You're far from home, Nora.
Gotta keep going, sorry. You could always go to Cuba, you know?
You can't just replace a lucky hammer?
That last ale grinding your gears still?
Yes. Looking sharp as ever.
Ha! There you are!
Well, look who's back.
To the cave! And 3 clanks for our chef Nova!
Aloy, please, have a seat. I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machines. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together, and your machine has 3 points of combat power. My machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine can do 3 points of damage. Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front of my second machine. Since it's standing on grassland terrain, this terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it, which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points. If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. Ha! See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and end your turn. There's still one more thing I want to show you. All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. Your machine won't drown or anything. Move it to marsh terrain. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering for me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play. Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram-type machine. Attack an enemy with it, and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece, a dash-type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked at all the machine types yet. But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list. It's got all the tips and tricks we talked about, too. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let me know. Let's do this! That's it for me. my turn. You're up, Red. Just one piece left. Time to get serious. Board's all yours. That one hurt. Now that was a game, even if I lost. Come back anytime, Red.
Whoa! Easy there, Red.
You're showing that buzz of yours in public again.
Hi, we're a silver man.
Someone said
I want to run too. Ale and a day's work. Hey! Gotta keep going, sorry. Brother!
Olvin can't just ignore us like this, can he?
I try not to think about it.
We almost died because of it.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Have you seen us? What are we
Ignoring
supposed to
me
do?
again?
Have Arnold throw his crutch at him?
Pull yourself away from your workbench. I've been mulling over a design, but I can't make it work. A harness for a bar drudge. It will let them carry 20 flags.
Wait. she cleared out the bristlebacks?
That sounds like...
I see you all made it back.
Hammer and tongs. That they did, Huntress. They tell me you blasted through the problem. Lokuf here came back trembling like a twig.
Hey!
What's important is everyone made it out. No thanks to Ulvin.
Have you talked to him yet?
We're on the waiting list.
Doesn't have the guts to face all of us at once.
We need to stick together, in case he decides to send his goons over. You're all banged up as it is. I can deal with Ulvin. You don't need to stick around.
We know, you old hammer.
Just stay safe.
Back into my work. But sometimes you need a short break. Let's see if I'm wrong, but it works.
What?
When did little people get so...
The way to Barren Light is clear. Get moving.
You're not errand vanguardsman. I will move only when the captain
When
says...
I've cleared out all the bristlebacks, which I have. Captain's orders.
So they're okay?
Banged up, but breathing. And waiting up ahead for you.
But I was supposed to have 3 escorts.
I'm off to Barren Light, buddies. Like Aloy said, captain's orders. You can stay here.
Abandoned to the riffraff? I think not.
Guess you're coming with me then. See you there, Aloy.
Well, now that that's done, the embassy can finally get underway. If I can get through it, I'll be able to track down Silence. Hades. Maybe even a Gaia backup. Guess I could head straight for Barren Light. Or poke around the Daunt some more first.
How goes it, Hammerhead?
Outfit, armor.
Hope to catch...
Found some berries I never seen before behind Shane's spring. As a bad batch of
Aloy. Back for more, huh? Another round here? Heard you've been busy.
As for me, I'm gonna need a few more of these before I get back to the forge.
Is there something on your mind?
Well, things aren't as bad since you got this place running again. But we still got Olvin grating the gears about his concession decree.
If you don't put that down, I'll come over there and show you how that game ends.
Anyway, right now, I'm just worried about those refugees out from Sunfall. To come all this way enduring Forge knows what.
Yeah, I saw. They won't let anyone up the old trailhead southwest of here.
And therein lies the problem. A Stormbird crashed up on the cliffs last week, and Talon Cleanbrokers had his eye on the salvage ever since. But the refugees have barred entrance. Mustn't interrupt their sun-scorched ritual. Something about finding a twilight path.
Huh. I never heard them talk about that before.
Yeah, well, these particular Shadow Karja are an odd bunch. But overall, they're peaceful folk. Not that it matters to Talon. He'll crack some heads to get to that salvage. Maybe you could swing by, convince him to set up camp somewhere else?
So the bristlebacks in the Daunt.
You're a pig. Blasted things, those bristlebacks. They just showed up one day, rampaging around the valley like they exploded out of a forge. Lost some good people. But bless the bellows, you cleared them out and got this place working again. That put a dent in Olvin's plans. Now, if only there were some way to smash them all together and run them out of town.
But how could bristlebacks and the Daunt help Olvin?
2 words. Concession decree. Since no one knows where the bristlebacks came from, Olvind has taken to blaming the Karja for them. He's hoping to dig up enough old resentments to get a strike going until the concession's signed. This is just his latest attempt. He's been trying to rile up the workers since the day he rolled into town.
About that, I think the bristlebacks came out of Olvin's old mine.
Now there's a spark that could light a fire. Can you prove it?
I'm working on it.
By the forge. Grab my ear if you nail it down.
What else can you tell me about the Shadow Karja refugees?
Well, they don't call themselves Shadow Karja for one. At least, not anymore. They're some other brand of sun-crazed. But whatever side of the sun they're on, they're peaceful through and through. Don't seem to want for nothing except a place to live, pray, and just enough food to keep from starving.
So they're just camped outside by a trail, blocking entry to a wrecked Stormbird, waiting for... what, exactly?
Don't rightly know, but I'll tell you this. Should they ever wise up and salvage it, a Stormbird heart is worth a lot. And if they get there first, then by Ostrom law, it's theirs. Not that Tolan Cleanbrokers ever lost sleep over any law-breaking.
Who is this Talland Cleanbroker?
Just some chuff-huffing pondsman. Got a shop here in town. Lived in Chainscrape since there was a Chainscrape. He and Ulvin go back a ways. Like a pair of coals and a campfire, those two.
So Talland works for Ulvin?
Ha! Ulvin might think so, but Talland scrapes up his own scams. And he ain't the type to let a few refugees get between him and Stormbird salvage.
Well, if I'm up that way, I'll talk to the refugees. Try to convince them to move.
Much appreciated. They have it rough. Don't need Talon making it rougher.
Petra said Talland has a shop here in Chainscrape.
No one wants to play strike.
I could have a word with him
No?
first.
Anyway.
Out there.
I'm sorry, I'll be right with you.
Okay,
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying it's overkill.
It's a weapon. Kill is the point. Not if it blows the user's arm off.
Oh, just stop talking. Where are we?
So, you look like someone who's always searching for a new weapon. Am I right?
Actually,
But you're just nuts! I am with a customer!
I'm not a customer.
I got it! Triple the powder. It'll blow a Strider sky high. Ba-boom. One shot kill. Guaranteed.
Maybe I am.
Then you are in the right place at the right time, Red! How would you like to be the proud owner of the world's first machine-enhanced,
explosive, done in one, machine wrecking,
yet perfectly safe, javelin thrower?
Are you two from around here?
Nah, the claim. Dad sent us out west in search of some unknown opportunity. Said we'll know it when we see it.
Sounds like you had other ideas.
Let's just say that opening another trading post for my parents isn't how I want to make my mark in this world. I imagine traveling alone must be nice.
So, she's your partner?
My apprentice. And my sister. She's why we're out here. There was an incident. Another incident.
Involving explosives?
Ba-boom!
And Dad's precious homebrew. He shipped us out the next day.
Huh. Tell me more about this weapon of yours.
I saw a scroll when I was a kid by some Karja scholar who wandered out west. Had a scary drawing of a Tenakth warrior hunting with a kind of javelin thrower. Effective? Yes. Basic? Undoubtedly. But coming out here made me remember it. And I am on the brink of vastly improving the tool's archaic design.
Whereas I will perfect it.
I can use machine parts to enhance the user's throw, increase the projectile's velocity. Well, Boomer here is adamant that enhancing the projectile is better. Namely with explosive tips.
Boomsticks.
Why not both?
That could work. There's one small snag. I need the parts to make the first working model.
Well, for starters, I'll need charger horns. Intact.
Yeah, that. Just be sure to shoot them off before the machine goes down. Otherwise, they break. But the real innovation, and keep it to yourself, is a fang horn rib.
There's a mean one east of here. Blow it sky high.
Boomer! You get him for me. It's yours. My treat.
You have a deal. I should have enough charger horns for Della and Boomer now. Just need a rib from that fang horn they were talking about.
How's the hunting and gathering going, Red?
Getting there.
What can I do for you?
I'll be on my way.
Don't be a stranger.
Ignoring me again.
Hey, my favorite customer.
I'll be going.
We'll come back when you have the parts.
Watch your back out here. Dogs a dangerous place.